Hey you guys, this is Miss Rachel. I sure do miss all of you in my children's ministry. I hope you're doing well, and I'm praying that we're going to be able to get back together and get to see each other really soon again. I hope y'all are all safe and healthy. I have a story I'd like to read to you tonight. This story is about Hannah and Hannah's promise. And this story or testimony is about a woman named Hannah who really wanted to have a child. Every year, she would go with her husband to a place called Shiloh. While they were there would be a big festival, and everyone would celebrate all that God did for them. They would thank God for their crops and everything God had given them. They would give sacrifices or presents to God to show how thankful they were. This sometimes made Hannah very sad because she wanted so badly to be thankful, but was discouraged because she couldn't have a child. That didn't mean Hannah moped around and felt sorry for herself, but in her heart she was very sad. Her husband still loved her and tried very much to make her feel better, but nothing seemed to work. Finally, Hannah did the only thing she knew that she could do to help her situation. One evening, when they had finished eating and drinking, Hannah went to the temple and began to pray. When Hannah prayed, she was very honest with how she was feeling. She sometimes cried a lot and probably felt like God had forgotten her. But while she was praying, she promised God, "Dear God, if you would only look and see how sad I am and remember me, please give me a son. If you would do that for me, I will dedicate my son to you for his whole life." As Hannah was praying, there was a man named Eli, a priest, who was sitting nearby and saw her. While Hannah was praying, she was praying to herself. Her lips were moving, but Eli couldn't hear what she was saying. We can pray just like that if we need to. We can pray so that only God can hear us. We can pray in our heads so only He can hear. Eli realized that Hannah was being very honest and truthful with God, and he said to her, "Go in peace, and may God answer your prayers." After that, Hannah left and felt much better because she had talked to God about what had bothered her. Early the next morning, she even went to worship God before she went home. You see, sometimes God doesn't answer our prayers, maybe not like how we want Him, well, like we think we want Him to, but we shouldn't be mad and not talk to Him and not thank God for all the other good things that He's done for us. God knows what's best for us, and sometimes there's good reasons why He doesn't answer our prayers like we think He should. But a while later, a great thing happened. God, of course, remembered Hannah because God doesn't forget any of us, and gave her a son, and she named him Samuel. Hannah had waited so long for this child, and she loved him so much, but she remembered that she had made a promise to God. Hannah was honest, and she was an honest woman. And when she made a promise, she meant it. Again, Hannah had a good attitude and wanted to give Samuel back to God. She wasn't mad at herself and changed her mind. Hannah kept her promise. When Samuel was old enough, she went back to the place where she had prayed and said to Eli the priest, "Do you remember me? I am the woman that cried and prayed for this child, and God answered my prayers. Now I give him to the Lord, and I will leave him with you to learn and work with you." So Samuel lived with Eli, and every year Hannah would pack up her bags and go and visit him and bring him new clothes. It might have been hard for Hannah to see Samuel only once a year, but she wanted to keep her promise to God. God blessed Hannah again and gave her and her husband more children. Samuel did very well staying with Eli, and then one night something unusual happened. Eli and Samuel had both gone to bed and were having a nice sleep when Samuel all of a sudden woke up. Someone was calling him, "Samuel." Well, Samuel thought it was Eli, so he ran to his bed and answered, "Here I am, you called me." But Eli said, "I did not call you. Go back to lie down." So Samuel went back to his bed. He didn't know this, but God was calling him. Just as Samuel had gotten settled, God said again, "Samuel." And Samuel jumped up and went back to Eli and said, "Here I am. You called me." Again Eli answered, "No, I did not call you. Go back to bed." The Lord called Samuel a third time, and Samuel got up and went to Eli again and said, "Here I am. You called me." Eli figured it out. He had been thinking, who would be calling Samuel? There were only the two of them there. Suddenly Eli realized there was only one explanation. So Eli told Samuel, "Go and lie down, and if you hear the voice again, say, 'Yes, Lord, I am listening.'" Sure enough, Samuel went to lie down, and the Lord called him again. "Samuel, Samuel." So Samuel quickly replied, "Speak, Lord, I am listening." From then on, Samuel knew when God wanted to talk to him, and he always listened. God blessed Samuel, and he grew up to be a great prophet and spokesperson for God. So Hannah did the right thing when she kept her promise to God. Her son Samuel helped many people know who God was better. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I miss you, and I hope to see you guys really soon. You take care. God bless.